Hello everyone, I've decided to change my video format thanks to Katura. I just want to thank everyone for the support. In this video, I will cover return, scope, and break. First, I'll talk about what scope is. So, scope is the area where something, for example a variable, can be referred to. Let me give you an example. So, we make a script and we say if true then, and drop a line. So first we're going to make a variable, it's going to be local hello. So it's going to be a local variable in this if statement. And as you can see, when we try to print the variable, hello is underlined red. It will be underlined blue for light mode users, because it is not defined in the scope that the print is in. It's only defined in the if statement. So let's run this game. As you can see, it prints as nil. So when you use local variables, it's important to keep in mind scope. So now, since we've covered that, let's move on to returning. In the next concepts I teach you about, there will be some examples of scope. There are multiple things you can do with returning. One thing you can do is stopping a function in a certain place, similar to break, but I'll get into that later. Here's an example of this. So we're making a function, we're just going to call it getValue, and we'll have one parameter that will be value given. So then we do return value given, and we're going to add a +1 to that, so we're just going to change up the value. So now we're actually going to call the function in this variable. So let's just call doValue and getValue, so we're calling the function right here. With the parameters, we're just going to pick 3. And then we print the doValue. So it's calling the function. So as you can see, 4 is outputted as the value, because 3 + 1 is 4. The value we inputted +1 is 4. So that's what's printed. So I mean, here you can see how return is useful to get values from a function. So we're just going to change up this function a little bit, and you can also do this with multiple values. So we're just changing up some things. So now we have 2 parameters. So whoops, I put parentheses there. But so we're just going to return number 1 plus number 2. So now we're changing up the calling. So let's just do 1, 2. So 1 plus 2 should be 3. What is 3? So that's what we're gonna that's what should output. So as we run this, we get 3. So another thing that you can do is get multiple values from one function. Also, you don't need to have parameters to return something. You can return different things. I'm just using parameters as an example. We're just gonna make another function, and we're just gonna call it hi. And here, let's just define 3 variables. So I just have morning. Now we're gonna return these values. So let's do return. We're just gonna do morning, afternoon, night, because we're returning 3 values, 3 different values. We'll list our variables, which is interesting, defining multiple variables in one line. And then we're just gonna put our function there, which is hi. And then let's print after the function's called morning, afternoon, and night. So now when we run this, you see it says good morning, good afternoon, good night. When you print variables with commas after them, it puts space in between them, if you didn't know that. So we're going to take a break from playing around with different variables with returning. Now we're going to go into stopping a function. local function greetings, and then we're just gonna say print hi, and then we're gonna return, which should stop it, and then wait. Oh, we're just gonna return. Okay. Okay, well, you don't really have to, but I don't know why I'm doing that. But wait to print by. So let's just call this. So yeah, obviously calling the function. And then yeah, I'm just labeling things right here. You don't have to have a value after the return. You can just plainly put return. Because I mean, return doesn't have to have something after it. So when you run this, you see there's a little error. It expects, so since we returned it, it expects there to be an end, but there's more things after it, so the wait can't do it. Well, I mean, it can't wait because it's not supposed to be running. So, I mean, the way to avoid this is you do put just a little if statement. So we're just gonna simply 1 + 1 + 2, 1 + 1 = 2, sorry. And now is not underlined because the if statement, I mean, there's an if statement and it's conditional. So, hi. Returning may seem confusing at first, but as you go on and continue scripting, you'll find ways how returning is very useful and convenient. Now, let's move on to break. This is a very, very simple concept. Let's say we have a loop. Let's just make it a while wait loop. And if we put a print inside, the text will print over and over again. And then after this, we're gonna put a break. So when you run this, you see it only prints in a loop once. The reason that is because the break stops the loop from repeating itself. It terminates the loop cycle. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful or learned something. See ya.